All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can join in here. 1 second. All right, we are live. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. Whew, it was a choppy one, but it was interesting. There was some ninja moves today, but it was, just kind of a summer day, right? So it's pretty cool stuff there. Today we're going to be continuing our discussion here on day trading Fibonacci fun. Right, and today we're going to be talking about extensions. Yesterday we talked about retracements, so today we're going to talk about extensions, which is pretty cool stuff. Before we do that, though, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, so please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off the market today, and then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we might have in store this evening and into tomorrow. And then we're going to go over the topic, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's get started here. So SPX up 9 points today. So it wasn't a major move, right? We're kind of in this grindy move now up as we get really, really close to all-time highs on the SPX. Impressive move, right? 4 green months in a row. So far green this month. So far so good. Weekly chart, we got to push off of last week's high, so that's nice. We're getting really, really close to all-time highs, guys. We did leave a weekly gap below, so just watch out for that one. Daily chart, again, just just kind of a not a huge range day today, 27 points. It reminds me a lot of before the Corona crash, like this kind of slow, grindy type move up. We might see something like this where we fill that weekly gap here, and then work its way. All the bears will be like, okay, it's finally over, right? This thing's finally going to crash, right? But there's really, there's a lot of negative stuff out there, right? Obviously, the pandemic and everything like that. But there's also some good things going on, right? Some job, the job numbers are improving, right? Home prices and stuff like are stabilizing, things like that. So and plus the Fed's definitely got the back, right? So as they continue to buy mortgage-backed securities, things like that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. Again, we're still above our trend line. We're above the 80 MA, which is above the 50, which is above the 200, and we're still bullish until proven otherwise. As grindy as it can be, right? So as the trend is up, right, a lot of times these dip buys, get pretty interesting. So let's take a look here at the price action today. So we had kind of a scary minute right there. I mean, scary 15 minutes. That was a pretty big candle to the downside today. It was actually a fun one, right? So we got a little piece of that, and then we shorted, and then we tried to buy the dip around here at a key level, which we'll take a look at in a little bit, and then it flushed even some more, right? And then the real dip buy was down here, which is kind of cool, right? Right at kind of a congestion zone from the other day. And then a pretty decent dip buy. It wasn't super fast. It didn't reclaim this candle all the way, right? It took a good hour for it to get back to those levels, and then the chop continued. This is a decent candle too. It was also in kind of low volume, right? Let's take a look at the levels and you kind of see where we bounced, right? So pretty cool stuff, right? So these are today's levels. And we provide these levels to our members before each market open, right? And our first flush here was below the Friday's close, right? So that was kind of a big deal. Got us down to this level right here. We grabbed a dip buy right here, right? And then we pushed down even more, right? Started to get scary, but again, right? We're not trying to catch falling knives right here, but again, this is a great area of potential support, right? So we had this level right here, perfect, right? Just kind of bounced right off of that one and gave a move. And then we had the chop, right? A little bit of a dragonfly doji here for another push to the upside, down and then up, right? So it was kind of an interesting day, tricky, right? This is a long period of time right here where we chopped, right, and then it finally decided to start moving again. But not surprisingly, towards the end of the day, right? Remember we talked about trading the close recently, so good stuff there. Let's take a look at the S&P futures and see what they have in store here this evening. So you can see our signal zones played out really well today. Ooh, they gave a little bit of push here this evening. So coming into today, right, we had some interesting levels, a couple geometric lines breakdown. This is our first area, kind of for a bounce attempt, in this area right here. We did get a nice little move, and then it kind of pushed back down. And of course, that key level here and the signal zone was really important, right, because that was a drop-based rally area right here. So it gave a nice move there. And then we've been contending with this signal zone up here. We've seen a lot of resistance, right? This whole zone has been pretty tricky, right? So it's an old zone, but it's still good, right? So we down off of here, and into today, down off of there, right? down again, and then now this evening, looks like they're trying to get above it as the pajama traders are trying to make a little bit of push here this evening. So the J Pow working on his move. So geometric area that we're keeping an eye on here this evening. If we get above that, next kind of signal zone is up here, and then we're pretty much on the way to all-time highs there. 3,400 is an interesting area to look at. So let's see how that holds tonight and what we have in store for tomorrow. So good stuff. All right, so today we're going to be continuing our discussion here on day trading Fibonacci fun with extensions, right? So the retracement's really cool, right? So those were we talked about the golden ratio yesterday, how to get to it, and now what we can do is look at extensions from those areas and use Fibonacci's on those as well, right? So we've talked about extensions before, but let's talk about them again because they are interesting, they are helpful, and they kind of serve two purposes. One, they can give us potential target areas, right? So when we're doing waves, we're trading different waves, right? So we can use those, right? So a good example right here, right? So this moved down today, right? So you're kind of like wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That type of thing. So one of the things we could do is with the extension tool, which is this guy right here in Thinkorswim down at the bottom of the screen, right? Is that we start just like we do with the retracements. We kind of want to go the direction we want to go, right? So we start at the top of this move, we go to the next wave down, right? And there's two things we can do, right? There's multiple things we can do. We could put it anywhere we want to, right? But a couple of common things that we look at here is a full retrace, an extension of the full move, right? So that takes this whole move and extends it out 2.618%, 1.618%, right? Those are multiples of the range, right? But you can condense the range a little bit right here, right? And pull it back here as well. So it's kind of cool, right? So one of the first areas where we looked for a bounce was off of the 1.618 extension right here, right? And we plowed right through that, so that wasn't it, right? Finally, it was the 2.618 that really kind of got things going, right? So you kind of can go here, and you can see it was almost perfect off of this level when you extend it from that level, about a 2.618 move, right? So that starts to get really extended, right? We've talked about harmonics, right? We've talked about that before, and this really does play out, right? Because this was ended up being a bullish harmonic right here, right? So we had our XA move right here, right, from the pre-market, right, and then we had the AB, the BC, right, and then we had a big move down. So what was that, right? It's a crab, right? It's essentially a crab pattern right there, a butterfly, and you can kind of see that harmonic and how that plays out right there. So really, really nice stuff, right? And you can see how that that harmonic gave us a nice move to the upside. So it helps us find when things get extended to see how far can this thing really go. Obviously, price can go wherever it wants to. Nothing is guaranteed by the Fibonacci's, but it does give us some perspective of where things might go, right? So the other thing that we can use extensions for, there's lots of ways. There's a couple other ways too, but one of the main things that we use it for is when we find cluster zones, right? So when we're trading, let's take a look here. Let's go to a bigger time frame right here. So if we go to, we could probably do it here. So one of the things we look at is, to also look for areas of support resistance, right? So we can use our retracements, like we talked about yesterday, right? So we have here to here, okay, from pre-market, right? And look at that, we came right to the 786 right here. So when we start to find clusters in these areas, right, it can be very, very interesting, right? So so that was an important level, right? So let's check out here from this low to this high. Right, so we can see here, right, we're starting to find, some interesting, areas of confluence, right? So we can see here, just, from this move to this move, right, we got, a bit of a cluster right here. So when we do that and we combine those with our extensions, that can give us a little bit more confidence in the move, right? So some really cool stuff, and you can do that on the intraday time frame. You could also do it on the daily time frame as well, right? So so for here, for example, the move down from the Corona crash, right? So if we make this the extension down from here. Oops, that's the regular retrace tool. Extension down from here to here to here, right? Pretty close to a 1.618 extension, right? Where we finally got to the lows. A little bit extended below it, but it is what it is, right? And then here, right, the 224, nice extension right there. So we're starting to see some confluence in those areas. And again, we hit the that 218 number, which is pretty cool, right? So you kind of can go back a little bit farther as well. Here. Right, and when you find some confluence zones on that, right, so you can see this applies nicely with these levels. Woo! Got to go back some time. Might have to turn up the on the weekly chart here. Give me 1 second. As we kind of grind our way up right here, right? So another thing we could do is we could get our extensions on here as well, or our retracements. Right, so we go here to here, right? And you can see, we had a 786 retrace, about at that area, right? And it doesn't have to, necessarily be these areas, but this is, kind of an interesting area of support, right? So we had this, right? So again, just finding those, the extensions based on, other retracements too can help us find those cluster levels that can be very, very helpful as levels of potential support, right? I mean, you just have fun with this, and you don't have to necessarily, again, it's not an exact science. But it's cool, right? So, I mean, it helps us. Right? We use it in Elliott Wave to look for extensions, and we've talked about that before too. And so let's see, let's go back here to the 181. You can get an extension here. And, just it helps us get estimates of potential targets, but it can also help us find areas of potential support and resistance too. So anyway, really good stuff. We like the extension. We use them intraday mostly to find out where we might be finding an end of a move. And again, combining those with those harmonic techniques that we talked about a few series ago can be very, very powerful, and it's a crucial part to that. And also finding the end of an Elliott wave pattern. So good stuff. Well, hopefully you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all have a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. So Shirley sent a few in via email. So again, continue to keep Shirley to thoughts and prayers. But it looks like things are getting better. We got a nice full list. So that's a good thing. So let's take a look. So the Hartford looking pretty interesting right here, right? So we go to these recent highs, we go to these levels right here. We're starting to break out of that geometric line right here, and out of this the whole triangle range, right? We got some nice volume right there. And the insurance companies were pretty decent today, right? UNH, right? Met, Prudential, things like that. So we got a nice open gap up here in the 200-day moving average, which could be an interesting target, right? So take a look at. Oh, there you go. You got Pru. Okay, so good. So good stuff there. So very, very similar. Very, very similar looking chart. Let's get this here. Here, right? So it's working its way on a bit of a breakout right here. So again, let's see if we can get its way to the 200-day moving average on Pru. Nike, decent morning, right? The volume ended up coming in on it pretty good. It was a little bit light on its first move, but I love this candle right here with the the good volume kind of breaking its way out here. 2 pause days and a nice move up today, helping with Foot Locker. Gave some good earnings guidance on that one. So keep an eye on it. A little bit of an upper shadow on it, but let's see which way it goes there. Dry. Okay, so the Darden restaurants. So restaurants kind of starting to perk up a little bit. I mean, in a little bit, like kind of feels like things are starting to kind of reopen a little bit, despite the pandemic numbers increasing, things like that. But the restaurants are gonna be key. Airlines are key. Right, all the usual suspects from the Corona crash, right? So good stuff there. So let's see if that continues to work its way up. And BA. So guys, it was nice. So yesterday I actually talked about this on the video today that y'all mentioned the potential bull flag right here. It's teeny tiny, but it did work, right? It broke out of that little pullback right here. It kind of looks like a a little bit of a candlestick pattern, right, from a like a rising threes type thing, or but basically gave a nice move up here, came back through the cloud, had some good volume today, and just kind of is hanging out right here at the 50-day moving average. So let's see if we get some more positive news on this one going in tomorrow, if we continue to push up right here. Otherwise, we might see a little bit more chop on it. So good stuff there. Great. Thank you, Shirley. I think you had BA on there. I'm pretty sure I wrote that down right. I hope so. Good stuff. ZEK, what's going on? Hope you're doing well and had a great trading day. So let's take a look here. So Starbucks, yeah. So we mentioned this. It had a inside week right last week. So we tweeted this out over the weekend. And again, just kind of one of those of note, right? It's right at the 30 weekly moving average. Once it broke over that inside week high, right, we got a little more momentum to the upside on it. It was really pretty much it. It was really a technical move. It wasn't major volume, not a huge breakout candle without the volume, but it had a great move today. I wouldn't be surprised if we chopped around. This is kind of our target zone right here in this real body. We got to it, found a little resistance off of it. So definitely keep an eye on it, see if we get some more upside follow through. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it kind of just chop around for a little bit after that. But big move there, decent move right there. AMAT finally starting to get a little bit of move here, some volume. It's still got some areas it wants to get above. It did get above that area right here, right? But it's got that geometric line right there, which it found a little bit of resistance at. So see if we can get through that with some volume, as it has earnings coming up for a little bit of an earnings run. AIG. Yeah, I mean, this can be a fun one to trade. Again, it's tricky. It gaps all around the place, kind of low range days, but definitely want to keep an eye on right there. It's in the cloud, but below the 50-day moving average. XOM, guys, oil was pretty decent today. It took a while. They were kind of lagging a little bit this morning, and then you got a nice pop on that one, and then it gave you a big kind of triangle right here for a little bit more of a push at the end of the day on XOM. And then Nikola. So Nikola had a good day, guys. We're going to keep an eye on this one. I like the volume here. I like the gap up. They had some good news this morning. It hit our radar early this morning today. What I really liked about Nikola was the intraday trade. Triple inside 15 at the 15 orb low, right? And that was gave a nice triangle right here at the bottom end of this range, right? And just broke out really, really nicely out of those levels, right? And then held the ADMA up to the 15 orb high and beyond on that one. So we're going to see if that one gets any more upside follow through tomorrow. Tough to trade because it's kind of a crazy stock, but the spreads weren't too bad today, so that's good. So good stuff. Hey, what's going on? How are you doing? Yeah, good. So Apple came back a bit today. Yeah, so a really cool thing about Apple today, guys, we've talked about inside days, and I talk about it, I think we mentioned it yesterday too. Inside days, if it fails to break out of the inside day high, there's a good chance it's either going to retrace 50% of the range or at least retest the inside day low, and Apple did that perfect today, right? So gave an initial burst at the open. It was a little bit tricky, right? The volume was really sketchy going into the open, so we didn't really trust it this morning, and then it gave a sharp pullback. So I know members did trade it this morning, but we kind of offered some words of caution on it on the volume, and of course they had their stops up there and did well this morning on that before the big flush down here, this 15 minutes. So it gave a nice move down, inside 15 down, another inside 15 down, and literally came back and retested the inside day low, just like we talk about, right? So some good stuff there. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens often, especially if especially 50% of the range, but especially if you can't break out of that inside day high. That's why we like the double inside days, because you have a little bit more chance of it breaking out, right? And same thing applies on that one too. But yeah, nice stuff. Continued strength over 450. Let's see. I like how it failed to break down, but it also failed to break out. So just kind of keep an eye on it right here. See if it breaks over today's highs and give another push up here and try to give a push up back up to those all-time highs. So yeah, so we'll see if it can continue up there. But it's interesting right now. I mean, there's been a little bit of weakness in tech, some flow out of it, but the market overall is holding up there. Right, there's some strength in the banks today. And futures are a little bit perky here after hours, so that's good. Mike, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, BA starting to look a little bit better. Had a nice move at the open. Right, nice move at the open, and a couple things you can do too. I mean, sometimes even those initial candles, right? You kind of go from here to here to here, and look at a couple extension areas, right? So the 1.618 was a nice move, right, from here to here for that next candle, and then it worked its way a little bit higher today. So some good stuff on that one, and so it got a nice move, a little bit of resistance there at the 50-day, but yay for Boeing, so that's good. And then CGC, so it had earnings today. Right, so I guess you can call these pot companies having earnings, but it's it did okay. It had a little bit of a gap up here today, and some good, I guess, pot production numbers, whatever the case, however they determine it, but really tough, right? I mean, it didn't get over any major levels right here, so I wasn't surprised to see at least a bit of a reversal on it, but a little bit out of play so far. It might come back. It looks like there's still an open gap right there, so let's see how it holds. It's still kind of in this blah range, right? So nothing stellar in that one, but it would be interesting to see how that. Really, it's fun to track, right? Kind of see how that goes. JMIA, absolutely, right? So we looked at the double inside day, gave a nice double inside day up on Friday. So a bit of a triangle breakout right there. I like the volume on Friday, and got a nice gift horse gap up today, right? So the gift horse gap is like, okay, on some of these crazy names, right? You make a little bit of profit, but take it quickly right before it pulls back, right? So don't be afraid to look a gift horse in the mouth on those. But it's a nice follow through on there. It did close above Friday's high, so that's a good thing. So good stuff. So Almo, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so AMD looking pretty interesting right here. So gave a nasty pullback, but it is still holding the ADMA on that one. So let's see if that can hold. I wouldn't be surprised if it consolidated right there. As long as it stays above there, it might, it could be constructive, right? Lululemon. So Lulu can move when it's ready, right? So it did give this nice inside day up right here, out of the triangle. Now it's just kind of, slow drifting its way up right here. Fresh all-time high, so that's a good thing. Let's see if that can, see if we can continue to move on that one. Industrial, strong today. Caterpillar, beautiful. I really do like Caterpillar. I'm going to put it on the long radar for tomorrow. So let me get that pulled up here 1 second. So give me 1 sec. I like Caterpillar. I like the industrials into tomorrow. Let's see how that goes. Again, the transports have been strong recently, and we'll see if we can get some more continued follow through on those. And KLA. 1 sec, guys. There. Yes, Caterpillar looking pretty strong right there. We'll see if that gets any follow through. Nikola does look interesting. We're going to keep it on the 30 orb list for tomorrow. So as we go from there, so industrial strong. I mean, it looks good. It came over a couple levels, a little bit of resistance if you go further back, right here. There's a couple of drop zone right here before the big gap, right? So, but I do like how it's trying to get over these levels right here with some good volume. So let's see if we get some more follow through going into tomorrow. So good stuff there. And then SLV, right? So it's hard to get bearish on SLV, right? I mean, we're still above the upward trend line on these, right? So it ended up finishing green today, and we got a nice push on that when the market pulled back today, right? So the market had that little bit of a flush. And it GDX, a couple strong centers right there. Then it just kind of got nasty intraday there. But let's kind of see how it holds. It's still kind of hanging in there. It's over the 15 orb today, and bullish still proving otherwise in the daily chart. So good stuff. Yeah. So Dylan sent a few in here via Twitter. So Caterpillar we just looked at again, looking pretty good going into tomorrow. Walmart we liked as well. This is one of our favorite names here in retail, as it's got earnings coming up pretty soon right here. So nice push today, a little bit of an earnings run going on. So gotta like that. DPZ. Dominoes, yeah, still kind of range bound right there. I like how it bounced off the 50-day, but just again, still a little bit of caution on that one. Piton, we're still keeping an eye on for a potential dip buy on this one if it'll pull up here for us. Looking for a little dip buy on this one. From the last move up, from the last major pivot move up right here, right? So we've got about a 50% retrace off of that. A little bit lower shallow. See if that holds, right? We'll also be keeping an eye on the 61.8. FSLR, again, inside day here. A little bit of strength in some of those names today, like the ENPH was a little bit more bullish this morning, but then it ended up pulling back as well on a big inside day here on run. So, decent on those. Definitely something to keep an eye on. FSLY, it's hanging in there. So down a little bit again, but it's holding on to this fresh trend box area. Keep an eye on the inside day breakdown, right? So again, it's right at the 50-day moving average. Below that, might get a momentum move down to the cloud on that one. So it could be very interesting. So good stuff. Bagash, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Good evening. Let's say hello to D-Dog. Yeah, so D-Dog, a little bit of a quick push down below those levels. Again, the tricky part about this one, despite the fact that it's breaking down its upper trend line, things like that, you got this huge area, right, of prior consolidation before it moved, right? So that actually forms a nice potential area of support, right? So we did bounce off of that one, but we're keeping an eye right here. We have a geometric line right here. We're kind of in the cloud. D-Dog, it's a pretty decent mover, right? Just from the gap to the high on the retrace here to here, right? We're just below the 618, but we closed above that today. So let's kind of keep an eye on that one, see if it gets any more action on that. Baidu. Baidu with a little bit of upper shadow here today. Kind of keep an eye on these guys. There was some put activity on the K-Web, which is your Chinese name. So that little bit of tension could could be interesting. Adobe, again, I've seen a lot of call buying on this one too. So it's basically at the bottom of a fresh channel. That, as you can see, Adobe likes to hang out in channels, and so we kind of got this going on right here. So just kind of see how that holds, and if it pushes down one more time, that might be a nice area, especially if we can find that confluence there at the 50 in the cloud. So good stuff there. Let's take a look at CRM. Yeah, so CRM, same thing too. Like Adobe, they're all indexed together in these software names, right? So they've been struggling a little bit too with like Microsoft, right? It's kind of one of the heaviest weighted ones of those names. Again, it's all this TikTok drama, right? So Microsoft's going. Members did pretty well on that on the short side today. So just kind of keep an eye on those. Microsoft. Let Microsoft be a guide. If Microsoft's getting strong again, you can go back and look at those Adobes and CRMs, right? CRTX. Little biotech name, starting to work its way up here, kind of all over the place, between the 50 and the 200 days. See if we get any work on that, any movement on that one. APPN, nasty pullback today. So again, just something to keep an eye on right there. See if it gives a move. Rocky, what's going on? Retracting, but good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Trelly, what's going on? Overstock, let's take a look. Yeah, so Overstock finally made a little pull. Like I said, guys, you're bored to see what Overstock's up to. Again, closed back below $100, right? So down at 95 today, and it got really, really sloppy right here. But guys, look at this triangle. Look at that. Woo! Triangulating, right? And then you can kind of go there, and then you can kind of check, see how it behaving on the 5 below that triangle. Oh yeah, I got some increased volume here at a breakdown. Even this one too, increase, and then there you go, a little more downside on Overstock today. So inside day today. So let's see how those levels hold up tomorrow. Hey, good to see you. Yeah. So J-Moss, what's going on? Good evening. Yeah, so the Jets. Let's take a look here. So, Jets were strong today. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it, right? Great push above the 50-day. We're right at the top of the cloud right there. So let's see if these Jets, which are basically just some news today. The news today on the Jets was the apparently increased demand. I don't know what survey they got from it, but increased travel demand going on right now. And so that news came out early this morning, and the Jets started going too, and it kind of rode on the coattails of Boeing, things like that, right? So Love, the highest weighted one in that group, right? So that's right at the cloud too. So see how that holds on that one. Of course, the transports, we talked about this one over the weekend, newsletter, all that stuff, right? So the IWM, the small caps, the financials, and the transports were all strong on Friday, and as go the transports, so go the Dow. And today, the Dow was actually really strong. It was basically, kind of a bigger mover than with all those industrial names, Caterpillar, things like that. Of course, it's not Dow, but so they go the transports, so go the industrials, right? So it's a good move up there on Friday, and got some nice follow through on that one. Of course, FedEx was really, really nice too, which is your next one. Again, beautiful, beautiful follow through on that one. SRNE. Whoa, nice move on a biotech name right there. Those are the, gambly type stocks, but great follow through on that one. Again, Nike on the Foot Locker news today, left an upper shadow, so just watch out for that one. And of course, BA. Again, let's just kind of see if, it keeps on getting some good news on this one to keep pushing it. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll get an upgrade tomorrow, something like that. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, J Moss. Anke, what's going on? Hope you're doing well too. Yeah, let's take a look at ZI. Yeah. It was fun while it lasted, right? Gave a nice breakout candle right here, inside day up, and he kind of left you with an upper shadow here today. Definitely something to keep an eye on right here. A little bit news after hours. Let's see how it did right here. Yeah, so a little bit of a pullback there after hours too. But definitely want to keep an eye on. We'll put that on the 15 order radar for tomorrow. Nice find there. And what else? Good. CVX. Yeah, so oil again had some strength here. You remember we pointed out XOM earlier, a little strength a little bit later in the morning. Nicer follow through on CVX today. That's a good one to look at too to trade. XOM, Oxy, CVX. Those could be some good ones. I think Oxy had some news, earnings or something like that after hours too. IBM, strong day there today, guys. Almost a Morningstar reversal type pattern. Good volume. Let's see if we can work its way up to the 200 day on that one. DKNG. Yeah, bad news on the NCAA stuff today. I saw that at the gym this morning. And I was like, oh yeah, keep an eye on DKNG. After that starts to hit the fan on that one, and then just gives initial downside moves on that one. Is just is really responsive to those sporting events, right? GS potential pause day today, so that's one to keep an eye on as well. Possible doji sandwich up, and JP Morgan though did leave an upper shadow, but we're going to see if any of these can get some more of that follow through on that one. DKNG, we're going to keep on the radar there. I did want to look at which one was that? Were we talking? Oh yeah, Oxy. Just wanted to see that one real quick and see that. I think we had earnings after hours today on Oxy. Yeah, a little bit rough right there, right? So they missed on a bunch of stuff. So keep an eye on that one. It could be an interesting one on the for the 15 orb tomorrow, especially if oil is strong, right? If it's oil strong and they try to buy the dip on this one, we're not really gapping down too much. We'll see how that goes tomorrow. Good stuff. Really appreciate it. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, one more. Let's take a look at Square. Oh, did they lose a chunk today? Yeah, this has been on the bearish radar from these. Oh yeah, nah. We've been looking at this one. It just was looking heavy up here after that first candle, and then it gave you that inside day down, right? So getting really, really close to the gap fill on that one. Nice find on that one. Woo! Yeah, especially with the Nasdaq, being divergent and weak today from the rest of the market. Robin, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so Baba, again, like we were talking about, there's a lot of put activity, which we noticed in our option flow channel in the Discord. Increased China tensions. Not good, right, for these names, right? So a bit of a pause day right here. I like how the real body closed in the lower shadow of yesterday. So just kind of keep an eye on it, right? If we lose today's lows, and if the market's weak tomorrow, this might be something to keep an eye on. Of course, futures are slowly grinding their way up here, but again, just definitely something to keep an eye on right there. So good stuff. X Country Kev, what's going on? GM. Oh, yeah, so there was some activity on this one, some call activity on this one, a rare one for a big green candle like that, but beautiful, beautiful move on that one. And it's so smooth to trade with options if it's moving, right? Otherwise, it's just watching paint dry. But great stuff on that one. And yeah, the airlines is great stuff in there. Most of them are resisted by the top of their clouds, which is interesting coming from an airline company. Anyway, good stuff. Deepan, what's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's take a look. AYX got just crushed yesterday, and this was on our bearish radar for today, right? And it was on our public game plan. Nice breakdown from Friday's lows on that one. Might have some more in it, right? It's got down to 105 as potential, but that was a great follow through from Friday's weakness on that one. Eventually, I imagine they'll buy the dip on it, but we'll see where that goes right there. MDB again, software again, weak today. Again, look at Microsoft as a leader on those. CRWD, big move down on that one too. So it didn't help AYX that they had horrible earnings day, and it kind of moved off to that. TDOC though, a little bit of a bounce there off of that channel. So that could be interesting as well. So definitely keep an eye on that one. We're gonna keep Microsoft on the short radar tomorrow, and I like that TDOC. It's not easy to trade, but I like how it's bouncing off of that channel there. So that does look pretty interesting. Some good stuff. Good. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, Deepan. Thanks for tuning in. Paul, what's going on? Thanks for making it today. Great job. Great Elliott Wave stuff today in the Discord. Always appreciated. Let's take a look at Penn. So Penn had a great open today. And then it pulled back something fierce, right? So, again, great push of the open. Almost a gravestone doji on this one. And then kind of flushed its way down a little bit. So, definitely want to keep an eye right here. It's still holding this level. Just watch a closing gap below here around 44. Good stuff. Anki, what's going on? Let's take a look at Roku. All right. So Roku back to the middle of the triangle right there. So it's kind of in the chop zone. Really, we're looking for a strong candle for a potential breakdown. Excuse me, guys. We want to see more volume on the downside on that one to see if we can hold. It's got some crazy levels right here. It does love that 150 area. Google. It's twice I got the hiccups today, so I think this is grapefruit. So it kind of gets like a sweetness in the back of the throat and kind of gets you going. It's so good. All right, so Google still chopping around too, right? So kind of interesting stuff. I mean, just see if it holds these levels right here, and just such a tough one to trade. So it doesn't really look like it's doing too much, right? So not really much of a pattern right here either. Just a little careful on that one. Then, of course, AYX, we just got demolished after earnings, and then today some beautiful follow through with the weakness in the software sector. FSLY, again, same thing here. Inside day, it's right at the bottom of its trend box right here. So again, a push below the 50-day moving average could give a move down to the cloud. Austin, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, OSTK, great move, right? I guess we're great, downside action today. Big inside day today, so kind of keep an eye on those levels one way or the other. And like we talked about Apple today, see how it holds. See how it holds this level. See if it kind of plays out the same way. So good stuff. Tracy, what's going on? Good evening. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, airlines, again, lots of strength in these names as travel demand has increased. Today, some good news on that one. At UAL, a little bit nicer as it got out of the cloud. A lot of the other ones were resisted by the top of the cloud, so that looks pretty good right there. Win. Well, Win was the big winner. Again, guys, sometimes we get these inside days and we gap above it. That can be bullish, like we saw on the weekly chart, right? Here we gapped above it. It gave a bullish move. Gap below this one, downside move, right? So a lot of times we do see that. So keep an eye on the Win. RCL. Cruise lines. A lot of the cruise lines are saying, increase. I think Carnival's saying, hey, we're getting lots of good stuff. Lots of good reservations in the 2021, even though they're burning $250 million a month. It's like, that's not good. So anyway, but yeah, RCL, nice move right there. Again, miss on worse than expected earnings, but why not reverse off of that, right? So just kind of hung in there today and got back above the cloud on that one too. Watch these levels right here, right? So you can see that. Good. Yeah, my pleasure. Jay, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, and BAC, again, it's a pretty decent follow through on the banks today. Stay pretty strong here. Keep an eye on it, right? This could be a nice doji day right here. We talked about it filling the gap here, so see if it turns into a doji sandwich off of that. And we'll see if the banks continue to be strong on that one. It'll be interesting when they start buying the dip again on tech, but right now we're kind of a little bit off on that one. So, Michael, what's going on? MCRB, yeah, huge gap up today. That's huge, right? So, big upper shadow today, but looking pretty interesting. Again, the fun of the weird biotech sector, right? So, all over the place on these ones, but it could be fun, right? Gap up on IDEX here. Let's take a look. Down a little bit after hours. possibly on earnings. So yeah, so let's see if they buy the dip on that one. But 148 kind of just puts it back in that congestion zone. So a dip buy is possible on it, but it's not one that we typically trade. GE, nice move to the upside too. GE, JM, both good. And then Intel. Yeah, a little bit of move on that one. Some good volume right here. Is maybe they're trying to work on an accumulation period. So still kind of contained within the congestion zone. So good stuff. And then, oh yeah, John Deere. All these industrial names are just really, really super duper strong today. Like the if you go to the heat map on the SPX, right, all these names are just all green today. But yeah, beautiful move on John Deere. Oh, Deere and Company. Sorry. So good stuff. Yeah, Tracy at Diz. Let's take a look. So Diz down $1.14 today. Lots of upper shadows right here. Could be working a little bit of a move, but also just be careful, right? It could be working on a bull flag, right? So just kind of something to keep an eye on right there. See how that holds. So good stuff. The Nest, yeah, Roku again back down to that 150 area. So let's see how that holds right there, and back in the center of the triangle. So kind of a big area for Roku. Vroom, double inside day. You gotta like it after its epic move and heading up into earnings. So that could be an interesting one. And AYX, great one in the short radar today. New base player, yeah, so good to see you. UPS, again, like we said, the transport's really strong going in from Friday, and they got some great follow through today. UPS left in the upper shadow. FedEx still pretty strong, but still pretty strong. So let's see if it still gets more follow through on that. There's a lot of call activity on this one. Big candle right here. As it continue to work its way up right there. So again, just continue to watch, see if it gives maybe a pause day or a little consolidation for another entry later. Walmart again, beautiful here. Got through that geometric line. And Michael, yeah. So FCell, let's take a look. Yeah, decent move on this one too. So we saw some of these kind of these energy type names and all that make some decent moves earlier. So good on that one. Good volume on that one. So you get some more follow through out there. That 2.9 could be interesting there. The Nest, yeah. See, so again, the still more still strength in the banks today. Transports, IWM, right? So that's really kind of showing the market's like hanging in there right for now. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, DPZ still in the chop zone on that one. And and then what else? Zoom. Yeah, so Zoom got a little bit pushed down this morning here, but bounced off the 50-day on that one. So we were kind of stalking that a little bit at the open today. mRNA, some more downside follow through on that one too. It's looking pretty bearish there. I'm going to put that maybe on the bearish side. That's fine. But yeah, keep an eye on that one. Again, a lot of these not the biotech names, but kind of these vaccine type names, things like that, were a little bit weak today. Baba, same thing we looked at earlier, possible doji sandwich there. Let's see how that holds. Again, some big put activity on the K-Web, which is your Chinese names. Etsy with a little bit of a push to the upside today and back in the range too. So just kind of consolidating there. It kind of did the same thing that Apple did, testing both its range, except didn't come to the center of the range. ALB with an inside day up, low volume, so just a little bit worried about the volume on that one. And then pins, pretty decent, up 88 cents in an inside day, so with some good volume. So let's see if that can break out to the upside on that one. And Baggish, you have VRTX. Let's take a look. Vertex Pharmaceuticals, right? Again, a lot of these names, kind of struggle a little bit. I do like the lower shadow there off the 265 level, so let's see if that can hold. The Nest, yeah, car looks good with huge short interest. Let's take a look. Let's take a look right here. Yeah, so nice move right there. So, a couple levels we want to pay attention to, right? Obviously, big level right here. So we do get above that with some increased volume today. But again, just kind of keep an eye on here, right, and here. There's some major pivot levels right there. So strong move today. Let's see if we get some follow through there. I like the short interest on top of it as well. So good, yeah. XLF has been strong, right? Strong since Friday, right? The banks are good. This looks like a doji sandwich going in tomorrow. So let's see if we get some more follow through on it. If it does, right, we might see some more pushes on the banks and some other names that are in there. It didn't hurt that Burke B was pretty decent too. Rob, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, SPG, kind of interesting. It got that gap up today with the news with Amazon using malls and stuff like that to do stuff, and it gave a little bit of push there and kind of pulled back off the 50-day. GSX. Yeah, wow, yeah, GSX again. A lot of these names, pulled back a little bit today. So see how it holds. It's got some levels there. 90 looks interesting as potential support area. So we'll see how that holds. Yeah, good stuff. Hope you're doing great too. Thanks for tuning in, Michael. Yeah, Kodak. Wise man was said. Have a nice day. So Kodak is pretty cool today. Actually tried trading this one today. a little bit, but it was the options were restricted on it, so just kind of moving around here. But looking pretty weak right here. Again, they're just waiting for this whole SEC thing to kind of sort its way out on that. So we'll see how that goes there. Weekly, let's get that on the daily right there. We go. Good. Yes, Kodak, pretty wild, right? Michael, yeah, bullish Kate, AMD, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, could be good here, right? So one of the things we could do is put a couple extensions on it, right? And the real question is here. It's like, well, where do we do the extension from? Well, it's like, well, okay, we'll look for the next pullback, right? So we go to this low right here. Here, let's go extension. Here, right? So we're already at the 1.618. Right, so the 2.618 is up there at 108, right? So that's a possible area right there. 3.618 is about 131. So nice move on that one. See how that plays out. Could be very, very interesting. Pranav, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. It's India. I don't know if that one is something we're looking at. Is there maybe I'm not sure exactly which one you're referring to on that one. Maybe like an India ETF. But good stuff there. Just let me know if you have a ticker there that corresponds with what you're referring to. Nicola, Tracy, yeah, we're going to keep an eye on this one. Great volume today. We'll look for some follow through on that one, of course. And then baggage, turnaround Tuesday instead of the normal ones, right? Exactly. Possibly rotations back into the queues. So we're going to keep an eye on that one, right? And then now, yeah. So now let's see. So nice dip buy in this one, pretty incredible stuff. Took out Friday's lows and then a big reversal off this one with the rest of the market. Right, bullish candle here, continue to work its way up. Yeah, so let's see if I can get some follow through into tomorrow. Would be beautiful. So good stuff, guys. Well, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. It's been a good discussion so far on Fib Fun, and I got some other cool techniques that we're gonna be talking about this week. I think you guys will like it. So really appreciate everybody for tuning in here. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. We always appreciate that. And whether you're new here or not, please hit the like button. That goes a long way. And also check out the links in the description too. If you're joining from YouTube, we got our Twitter description there, our Twitter link there, where we post charts and ideas, and our website too. So good stuff, guys. Well, I really appreciate everybody for being here. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll catch you guys bright and early. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game.